So you're either looking to get licensed or already have gotten licensed as a new realtor here, either in the state of Louisiana or somewhere else in the United States. And now you're wondering, which brokerage should I work under as a brand new agent? Well, I'm Jacob Sines. I've been a realtor here for the last 4.5 years, just recently now an associate broker. And I've worked under two different brokerages with two very different compensation plans and systems of operations. For those of you that have not gotten licensed yet and are just thinking about becoming an agent, make sure to note that there are some brokers out there that will pay for your schooling and testing if you agree to work under them once you're licensed. This is really important because people like me who jumped the gun and got the schooling done and became licensed, then went to work under a broker that they find out would have paid for the entire process if they just would have spoken with them beforehand. Now, but note, not all brokerages will do this, but it is worth your time to interview with brokerages before the schooling and testing process because the time you spend might save you well over $500. Now let's look at a few different type of brokers. There are a lot of broker concepts out there, from the old legacy style RE/MAX, Century 21, and Coldwell Banker type of brokers to transactional brokers, which I'll talk a little more about later. You'll have small mom and pop brokers and some brokerages that are set up to allow you to bring other agents in and make a small commission off of their business that they bring in under you. Now, I'm going to be talking about more of the legacy brokers versus the transactional brokers only because these are the two that I'm experienced with. And I really couldn't give you a whole lot of real world experience with the latter two. It's important to recognize that no one broker is the perfect one for everyone. They're all going to differ in size of brokerage, training, brand recognition, and most importantly for many, the compensation and overhead costs of doing business with that particular brokerage. So some examples of common commission plans that you're going to see out there, you have the 70-30 split, you have a 60-40 split. These are the most commonly seen, and these typically don't have a monthly fee, so you're only going to pay the brokerage out of the deals that you do. For example, if you have a 70-30 split, you're going to pay 30% of your commission to the brokerage on every deal that you make. Now, it's super important to point out that you are well aware of any fees outside of that split, like royalty and transaction fees, for example. Now, when I worked with Coldwell Banker, I had a 70-30 split. But when I added the royalty and transaction fee on top of that, it really made my split feel closer to a 60-40 split than a 70-30. So some bigger brokers, they may also implement a training fee. So some might charge you a monthly or a percentage of the sale. Some brokerages may even charge you a desk fee or an office fee. So look for that also. Now, let's look at a transaction here, a typical transaction. If you sold a $250,000 home and your commission was 2.5%, you'd have a $6,250 commission check that would be cut to your brokerage. If you had a 70-30 split, you'd only keep $43.75. But if you have a transaction fee, and mine was $250, and add also a royalty fee, which was for me, it was 6% of the commission made, which was $262.50. In my case, it would have left me with $3,862.40 that I would keep before taxes. So you can really start to see how deep that split really felt after I got paid on the deal. Now, overhead and commission plans for transactional brokerages are a bit different. These brokers charge you a monthly fee. Mine, for example, charges $95. Then when you make a sale, they only take a transaction fee from the commission. So mine actually takes $495 out of the sale unless I have $1 million sale or over, which then they would take $995. Now this really minimizes the impact that I have on the loss in commission from my payout to my broker. So it's really great, but the question is it really right for you? I'll give you my experience coming in as a brand new agent in 2020. I wanted a big brand that was recognized because I felt as a new agent, my name and my brand had no pull or any credibility. By attaching my name to a big legacy company, I felt it would have more pull in the industry. Now, how true is this? Probably not as true as I thought it was in the beginning. While yes, people recognize your company's brand, you come to quickly realize that people pick you as their agent more because of you and not your brokerage. This is really important for you to understand as a new agent, because when you interview with brokerages, you want to focus more on what the brokerage is going to do for you in terms of training, technology, commission, office support like space and equipment, and most importantly, what the brokerage is doing with the money you're paying out to them in that commission split. This is way more valuable than brand recognition, in my opinion. So when I started, I interviewed with legacy companies. Now, RE/MAX had a great program, but since I was new and I wasn't 100% sure if real estate was going to be a true career for me, I chose against it. RE/MAX wanted full-time agents and they wanted results. To me, this was like having a job, and as a business owner, I didn't want to feel that way. I wanted to get into business for myself, and I didn't want to have someone over me giving me negative motivation by having that thought in my head that if I don't produce, they're going to ask me to leave, and essentially that's going to make me feel like I got fired. I wanted a place that would train me, be patient with me, and give me room and time to grow. Because remember, this was during the start of COVID in 2020, and there were tons of unknowns, and at that time there was just a lot of unknowns to deal with. So, I really didn't know what I was going to do with being a realtor. So after interviewing everyone, I chose to go with Coldwell Banker. I had a 70-30 split plus royalty and transaction fee, and that would really have me feel, like I said before, more like I had a 60-40 split. But ultimately, this was fine with me because I didn't know how many deals I was really going to have starting out. And Coldwell provided a great office, supplies, great support, and training. And more importantly, it had an office that was filled with agents to learn from. So this really fit what I needed at that time as a new agent. Now, after 2 years with Coldwell Banker, I started to look at other opportunities working with a new brokerage. I look back at the deals I'd done with Coldwell Banker, and I realized that over 95% of what I was getting was really through my own channels and really not due to being with any particular broker. So I really started to think about whether the money I was paying out to them was really worth it anymore. Now, it's important to note that this was the case with Coldwell Banker, and it may not be the case for other similar split brokerages. So, for example, I have a great friend of mine that runs his brokerage at a 65-35 split. But he has no royalty, no transaction fee on top of it. And also, most importantly, he's extremely good at generating leads for his agents. So he keeps his agents busy with business coming in from his lead generation channels. And if I were to go, with a heavy split brokerage like this again, it would only be with one that was set up like his. As a new agent starting out, it can be super rough unless you happen to be like this rare breed that has tons of people in the area that someone who grew up, their whole life there and has a huge sphere of influence, and they're all at the right age to start buying and selling homes. Most new agents coming in, they're going to struggle to make it the first couple of years. So having a broker that can feed you some business through those years is tremendously valuable. If I was starting brand new again, this 100% would be the route that I'd go. I would feel that the percentage I was paying to the brokerage was warranted, and that if they were investing those dollars that I gave them back into lead generation, I would feel that this money was definitely well spent. I'd find a brokerage that had the ability to feed leads to their new agents, even if they charged me a little bit more of a fee for those transactions. Those leads that the brokerage gave me would have been a game changer for me in the early days. Unfortunately, I didn't have this with Coldwell Banker. The only way I would generate a lead was volunteering to sit at the front desk in hopes that someone walked in looking for an agent. Not to say it never happened for some agents, but for me, never really did. Now with my current brokerage, United Real Estate, There are many transactional brokerages just like there are traditional. I took the leap into working with United about 2 years ago. It allows me to keep most of all the commission that I make on a sale. So I pay $95 a month with a $495 transaction fee unless the sale is $1 million or more, which in that case, my transaction fee would be $995. So let's look at the same transaction as before under this commission plan. If you took a $250,000 sale and you have a commission of 2.5%, you would have a commission check made out to the broker, just like you did before, for $6,250. But this brokerage would only take their $495 fee, which would leave you with $5,755. Big difference from the $3,862.40 that you were left with doing a split like Coldwell Banker. Now, for some of you, you're going to say, what about the $95 a month? You didn't have to pay that with Coldwell Banker. So let's combine your total year of monthly fees, which is $1,140, and subtract that from this one transaction. It still leaves me with $4,615, which is still $752.60 more than I would have received with Coldwell Banker. So really, if you look at this average transaction, it shows you that one average transaction a year will still have you ahead in terms of money paid out to the broker. When I made the switch, my thinking was that the market was softening, and at that time, I wouldn't have to worry about making as many sales in a rough market to make the same amount of money. If the market got better, I'd be keeping more of my money per transaction, and this would allow me to utilize those dollars in other lead generation platforms. So this would mean I'd have the ability to pay for my own leads through other online platforms. I would really recommend this type of brokerage for agents that have been in the business for a while. These agents that I'm talking about, they would have created a base of past clients already, and they don't need as much hand-holding as a brand new agent would. So for me, going to a transactional brokerage, it's a no-brainer for these type of agents. But for new agents, I would tell you to take caution. While the commission split is tempting, you have to remember that you won't have the same hand-holding. You won't have the same office with lots of agents to talk to and learn from, and you will have to be a huge self-starter from the very beginning. In my opinion, there's not a lot of new agents that I would recommend this move for. I would say to get some experience first before coming into this type of brokerage. But in the end, you know you, and you should make the decision that best fits your needs. I'm hoping this helps you guys on your journey to becoming a hugely successful realtor in your area. And as always, if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out. Give me a call. Definitely would be great to hear from you.